ورجعنا لكم من جديد ومعنا ضيفتنا بالاستوديو شيماء سميل المؤسس والرئيس التنفيذي لشركة Made by Sunday. Welcome to the show, Shaima.
Thank you.
How are you?
Much. I'm very good, thank you.
Thank you for being with us. First of all, we'd like to know more about your story. How did you start your entrepreneurship story, and especially that you worked in ministries and a couple of governmental even institutions.
So I actually originally started working in finance, and then from there I moved to politics. So I worked for the UN. I also worked for the Ministry of Energy in Morocco. But generally, throughout my experiences, I was always interested in business and started a business. And I think the story that you don't really hear anymore is that you kind of need to open a business because you need the money. Because of social media and because of how it has become this glamorous thing. People think you start a business because you want to be part of the startup world, but originally at the core of it, it was really genuinely just that I needed the money and I needed to build something for myself and my family. So this is really how I got started.
And which one was your first business? You were 21 years old when you started?
I actually was younger than that. Wow. So I was at university, I was on scholarship, and I kind of already had experiences working because I kind of convinced my university to let me work instead of like transfer that into credits.
Yeah.
And so I was in Sao Paulo. I was working for this like consumer company, food company, and then I started consulting on the side. So I would freelance and just help people develop businesses in emerging markets because that was like my kind of specialty.
Yeah.
And from there I gained some money, and then I moved on and I started a tutoring center in Morocco because I had to go back to Morocco from that money. And while I was growing it, I was still freelancing on the side. So that was kind of my startup capital. It actually was successful. And we ended up franchising it.
Nice.
And from there I moved to the food industry, and I started a juice bar, and from one juice bar another one, and then a salad bar, and then I sold everything and moved to the UK.
Wow, that's a bold move.
Yeah, no, I did. Yeah, I moved to the UK on an entrepreneur visa, and this is how it started Made by Sunday.
That's amazing. But you highlighted a point which I think is very important, which is entrepreneurs, the people who want to be an entrepreneur because it's cool nowadays, because of social media and things like that. So what's the difference really between, how can we differentiate between a real entrepreneur and just someone who wants to be an
I have very unpopular opinions on this one.
Please feel free.
Well, I think I see a lot of kids on social media these days starting like a website, which is not even a business. So you're not even hiring people, you haven't proven your market, you haven't even raised money, and they call themselves entrepreneurs. It's like you started a landing page 2 months ago and you call yourself entrepreneur. And then there is that part as well where it's, okay, you're a business owner, and then you have to have certain years of experience, and then like, you know, businesses to call yourself an entrepreneur really. Entrepreneurship isn't just, again, a landing page or a small business, you know? So it's really complicated. And I think social media definitely made it worse, and I think it made it this glamorous thing when in reality real entrepreneurship is not glamorous. Like my days are not glamorous at all. It's like you're fighting every day, and it's not easy. There's also that part of it where investments comes in, and that's, again, I don't have a very popular opinion on it. I don't think all businesses need investment from the get-go. I don't think it's right to say to people and teach to people at universities or on social media, whatever, that, okay, I have an idea for a business, let me go to investors and get money and do a pitch deck. I think you need to think, okay, what is my MVP? Let's prove the market. Let's get customers to put money in my business. Then I'm going to go to investors if I need to.
And even now with all the PRs that like this startup just raised this amount of money, other startups are getting pressured as well and feel like, you know?
No, I completely get it. I feel that pressure as well because you don't get, like, the success metrics are off. Because you give validation and gratification to people who raise £4 million, for example, where I am, when I am making that money through my business, but I don't get the same kind of like
applause.
Exactly. And so it really is difficult, especially these days. But at the end of the day, you just have to believe that you're doing the right thing, and you know, creating, what I'm telling myself is I'm creating jobs, I'm paying salaries, I'm actually doing the entrepreneurial thing
yeah.
as opposed to raising money and then, you know, just that is just a facade. And then when coronavirus hit, that was a great testament for these
yes.
kind of, you know, empty businesses where you're just fueled by investor money because the investors pulled out and didn't have a business.
Exactly.
When in our case, we were able to actually grow so much during coronavirus because it was a healthy kind of business in that sense. So yeah,
because you had to make like fast decisions and they had to be like closest to the right ones, otherwise you would lose a lot.
Yes, and I wasn't dependent on investor money.
Yeah.
So if I'm actually making money through my business, then I don't need, like if someone else pulls out all your money, then I'm not finding my situation, I'm not finding myself in a situation where I don't have money to pay my people or, you know, pay products and stuff like that. So yeah, it really is difficult these days.
100%. Tell us more about Made by Sunday. How did you start it? And
yeah, so when I went to the UK originally, I'm not like a makeup, beauty or skincare person. My skincare routine is very simple, and I think it kind of hit me how big of an industry it is, and it hit me how it became this huge thing on social media. And so I thought I needed to kind of bring something refreshing in it, something that is very simplified for people like me that, you know, don't understand like 10-step routines or things like that. And then and then there's also the affordability thing. I am very passionate about bringing good quality products for the people, and I kind of want to fight this kind of classism that exists, that only like the best stuff, like the Estee Lauders, you know, and all these like expensive serums are for the richest, you know, like as a young person, you don't really
afford that.
Or like just a normal person, you can't afford that. Like the median price for a serum in Sephora is $75. That's a lot of money, especially where I come from. I mean, I'm not sure here, but like in Morocco, there is a lot of money. And so, I thought I should look into it. And what I found out was that the markup was crazy. You don't need, like the product doesn't cost that much that you need to mark it up like that. And then, and then also there's another thing which was really interesting, was that on average, people were really dissatisfied with the product they were buying. True. So if you look at the numbers, the score was 20 out of 100. So that is one of the lowest in any industry, all the industries, of dissatisfaction. So I thought we need to bring products that actually work. And so that's what we did. We looked at ingredients. We only use active ingredients. It's all plant-based, even the
love it,
the preservative, and then it's very simplified but very effective. And again, instead of going and getting money and producing like the fanciest product with all the fancy marketing and everything, we just focus on the consumer and the customer. And then it proved right, and like people had better skin, and so we used that, and that like kind of fueled our growth. When coronavirus hit, it kind of was at first, we can't sell through retailers because their shops are closed. But to us, it was an opportunity because a lot of these shops actually stopped advertising on Facebook, for example, at the beginning, which allowed us to be shown more through the customers. And they, like customers in the UK everywhere, like went online to buy their skincare. And so that really helped us grow, and from there it was just,
But that's amazing. It's very tricky, like the beauty industry, because as you said, customer satisfaction and everything. So how did you manage to do all the logistics and all of those things and pick the right ingredients and everything? And as you said, you're not a big fan of skincare and makeup.
No. So I did it from a customer point of view. Like what do I want to see as a customer, and what would work for my skin or for other people's skin? So it's always customer centric. So we don't produce products just to produce, like we don't have a mask, for example, a face mask, because there's just no point to having a face mask right now. What we have works. And so we just cut the kind of fluff and the bullshit around it, if I'm allowed to say that. And we just produced like simple products that are very with active ingredients that are very concentrated. That's the other thing as well. In the beauty industry, the product is very diluted with water and glycerin and fillers and preservative. So you end up with a very diluted product. And so we just focus on the customer.
As a startup, how did you market it? Because as you said, like a lot of people know those big brands, and
you should see the first products we came up with. They had horrible stickers. They were in plastic packaging. It was like genuinely horrendous. And what happened was the UK closed up during coronavirus. So we sourced like e-cigarettes packaging. We put skincare in it, and most people would think, oh, she won't be able to grow a business like that. But it didn't matter because what was inside was working. And so what we do in terms, we source ingredients from small growers, so they're all natural ingredients, and then we work with a lab in Oxford, from Oxford University, so with scientists, and we come up with the best formula, and then we test it with our customers again. And then we had a lot of reviews, and we had a lot of kind of market proof that this worked, and then we advertised it that way, and that helped us kind of make, like, you know, a place or a spot in a very crowded industry. We also, our marketing is very different. It's very based on humor, and we keep it real with people. Nice. And we kind of make a stand against those typically, you know, typical brands. So like, I love the human element of it, and I think that's a big strength in your product. But also, how do you listen to your customers, and how important it is to actually listen to your customers? I do customer service every day. I mean, I'm not the only one doing it, but I pick up customer service every day. I talk to customers when we do pop-up shops. I go there, I talk to customers, I sell to them. It's really important. I think social media has made it very easy. You can crowdsource products as well. So when I'm making products, we ask them, you know, why are you struggling right now? How can we improve? And you know how typically companies reformulate products, but they don't even tell the customer. But what we do is we involve them in the process, and then they tell us how they want it to be better. And so we, like I said, social media has made it better. And they always have that personal connection with each one of us. So we're very active on social media. They know everyone. They know the people that make the product. They receive a thing that tells them this is the person that made the product, and a bit about them as well. So there's always that personal touch.
That's amazing. That's really good. You were saying that not every business needs funding, but you did, and you got some funding for your startup.
I never got funding.
Not at all?
No.
Crowdfunding?
No, I have never.
Nothing?
No. So this has been bootstrapped from day one.
Okay, nice.
No, this has been bootstrapped from day one. I do believe that there is a right timing for funding. Like, I'm not saying funding shouldn't be done. I think for certain products like mine, you don't need funding really to get started. Or even like, I see people raise money and then they kind of miss the goal of actually coming with the product and the customers and everything. They're so busy managing a business that doesn't even have a product anymore. You know, so I think, it's possible without funding. Am I gonna not raise funding? I will certainly at some point, but not right now.
Okay, very interesting point. You did a guide also for Success Guide 21. Can you tell us more about it? How did you start it, and how did people interact with it?
Yeah, so it was social media. I share a lot. I try to, again, against that kind of Instagramification and like everything is perfect entrepreneurship journey. I kind of try to share real stories about doing business, or even as a woman, you know, doing it in a foreign country. So yeah, I one time I just came up with a guide, and it was I just shared it with my audience, and it was very well received. I think people really want real talk. Real
stories,
because I think with Instagram it has just made it horrible. I mean, it's just like you have this kind of idea that you're going to start a business and suddenly you're going to become rich, you're going to have all these accolades, and it's just not the right approach.
Everyone needs to be an entrepreneur on Instagram.
I know,
you know,
so like, why do you, it's the most boring, horrible job there is. No, seriously, like, how is it that someone is going to be, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur, but you can be like really good at a job in a company and be much happier. Like, why are you doing that?
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
It's like having a job is not a problem. Like, it became this thing where everyone wants to have a business, but then you realize you have to hire people, you know, like, if we're all entrepreneurs, who are we going to hire?
Exactly, and hiring people and talent. I think this is like a very important step, and dealing and managing this talent. You believe in potential more than experience. So can you tell us more? What do you think about that?
So coming from, I have 5 degrees. I was a scholarship kid, so I was not raised to believe in potential. I was raised to kind of like put, you know, diplomas, especially coming from like an Arab family and everything. It's like you gotta like
be a doctor,
engineer, or you know. So it was when I started business and everything. Through my experiences at first, I was like that. If you didn't go to the best universities, I did not look at you. But then I realized it's very elitist way of looking at it, because it's like people, because I was a scholarship kid, I thought if you worked hard at school, then you had a scholarship, then you went to a good university, and then you were working hard, you proved yourself. But some people just don't have access to those sort of opportunities, and it doesn't mean that they don't work hard. And so I learned from my past kind of experiences like that, and so we don't even look at universities anymore. We look at what you have done, what you can do for us. So instead of sending me your resume, show me what you can do for the company, and then we take it from there. And I've had like incredible people through that, like honestly, the best people.
That's amazing. So, yeah. What's the biggest challenge you faced in your startup so far?
I don't like calling it a startup, you see.
Oh, we call it whatever. Your company, your business.
Because of how it has become. You know? I feel like startup is such a like, I don't know.
Yeah, just how
it's like
they
a word on its own now, and I hate it.
Yeah, but just how they ruin the word influencers.
There are so many challenges. I think the first one that I did not expect was how underestimated I would be in a foreign country. I think that's the first one, especially being a young woman and everything, doing skincare as well. And so they think, oh, it's just like a woman, you know, doing her skincare, beauty thing. It's not at all the case. And then they learn about my background, and then they give it more, you know, credibility. And then the second one, when hiring, again, I believed in hiring fast, but then I was always kind of like reluctant into like letting go of people, because I felt like responsible for them. So now I'm always like hire fast, fire fast. If you haven't, you know, proven yourself, and if it's not a great fit, then you just move on to another company, and I can bring someone who's like gonna be able to grow this thing with me. Especially as we grow so fast, and I think every month we hire like 3-4 people. So it's like really growing fast, and all like again bootstrapped. So it's very it's very intense, and it's not for everyone. So I think those are the two challenges. And
tell us more about COVID. Like, how did it affect the business, and especially like if you said other brands were marketing it through social media, how did that help?
So when COVID hit, it was we were either going to shut down or like grow. So we completely changed the direction of the business. We only focus on e-commerce when that happened, when COVID happened. And when COVID happened, we kind of went back to the core of it, like the startup days, where we didn't care so much about being perfect, and we just like were launching products after products after products. The packaging wasn't right, the labeling wasn't right, everything wasn't right, but we were just selling and getting the money so we could fill like the company growth. And then we fixed it. We fixed the packaging and everything. So it did like affect it, especially as in the UK there was Brexit, and then we weren't able to source the right like ingredients like and things like that. So because basically we opened our own product making facility as well. So we have a lab, our own lab with our own people. So we make the products, we don't outsource that to another company. And then we have our own fulfillment center as well, part of the company. So I mean, we just had to navigate that.
But you launched new products during COVID.
During COVID, we launched so many products during COVID, and I think that's what kind of saved us, because the bigger companies couldn't launch that fast.
Exactly, yeah.
And so that helped us a lot.
And I love the part that you were saying we were just launching, not great not great packaging or whatever. And a lot of people are perfectionists, and they don't start even a business or anything,
especially women. Especially women. We're so worried about what other people are gonna think, or like your parents. You listen to your parents. Oh, my neighbor's gonna say this or whatever. Like, who cares? Just launch the thing, and it's not a shameful thing, because. Like the packaging was horrendous when you look at it. Honestly,
I'm curious now.
I wish you could see, but then it changed, and the website wasn't the best either. And then, but maybe it's not the best because I know now that we have improved and we continue.